this chapter, we will be looking at topics related to measurement. In this lesson, we will be looking at how to convert between the two systems. To begin, though, we're going to look at a very commonly used method of writing imperial measures.
Okay, now in this lesson what we're going to do is we'll do some conversions between imperial units. And there are certain things that we do with imperial units just to kind of help us get a cleaner understanding of the way they work. And then we're going to convert between imperial and metric units. Okay, but to start off with, we're going to convert between just within the imperial system here. We did some of this in the last lesson, but now we're going to adjust how we do this just a little bit here. Okay, because oftentimes what we'll do is we will give a measurement in terms of a couple of different imperial units here. So just to give you a sense here, let's say, for example, that I had something that was, well, let's just say 14 inches long. Okay, well, I might state that it's 14 inches long, or I might state that it's 1 foot 2 inches long, because a foot is 12 inches, and that's going to leave me with 2 inches left over here. So we might leave it in terms of 2 units here, where we try to get as much of that dealt with at that 14 inches in the larger unit, and then just whatever's left over here. So this is kind of like our remainder after we've divided that value here into units that are the same size as a foot. Anyway, let's have a look at some examples, and hopefully that'll make sense after we go through that. All right, well, to do the conversion here, and we'll do this with example 1 here, we're going to take a look at how you can convert to feet and inches if you got 51 inches here. What we're going to do here is take 51 inches, and to convert that to feet and inches, first of all, what I'm going to do is convert to feet. So I know that 1 foot is 12 inches, and when I attempt to do that, okay, what I'm going to do here is take 51 and divide it by 12. Okay, now take a look at my calculator. I'm just going to throw that on the table there. Sorry. 51 divided by 12. Now, when I press enter, watch what happens. I get 4.25. So I get 4 complete feet with a little bit left over. So I know for sure that this is 4 feet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that remainder and just see what I get here. So I'm going to subtract the 4 off of that because I already know that that's 4 complete feet. What I had to do here is now I've got 0.25 of a foot. Well, how many inches is that? 0.25 of, it's not a complete foot, so let's talk about it just in terms of inches. So let's multiply that by, well, how many inches in a foot? 12. So this is a quarter of 12 inches. So what's left over is 3. So this is going to be 4 feet, 3 inches. Okay, that's how we go about getting the conversion to feet and inches. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the similar problem. We're going to convert 51 inches into yards, feet, and inches. Okay, well, hey, we already did that in the previous question. We've already converted this into 4 feet, 3 inches. We already know that. So what we want to do here is convert 4 feet into yards and feet. Okay, I've already got that last little bit left over, 3 inches. And 3 inches isn't going to be a yard. It's not a foot. So that really is the last little bit left over there. So I already know that 51 inches is 4 feet, 3 inches. Now, let's convert 4 feet into yards and feet. Okay? Now, some of you are going to look at this and you're like, well, I know what that is right off the top here. Yeah. Okay. So first of all, let's take 4 feet and let's convert that to yards and feet. And we know that 1 yard is 3 feet. So that's going to end up being 4 divided by 3. Okay, or 1.333 yards. Okay, so I know for sure that I'm going to get 1 yard out of that. 1 yard out of that. So let's subtract the 1 off of that because I don't need that 1 anymore. This is the part that I'm curious about. I've got this 0.3333 of a yard left over. So I want to convert that into feet, the smaller unit here. Okay, well, how many feet in a yard? So 1 yard is 3 feet, and this is the fraction of that yard that I've got. So I'm going to multiply that fraction by 3 feet, by the yard, but expressed in terms of feet there. And what I'm going to get is, I've got 1 foot left over. So 4 feet is 1 yard, 1 foot. Okay, so now we can say, okay, therefore 51 inches is going to equal 1 yard, 1 foot, 3 inches. All right, now let's just jump in and we're going to convert 62 inches to yards, feet, and inches. Okay, well, first of all, let's take a look. We got 62 inches. Let's convert this into feet first, okay? So I've got 62 inches, and I'm going to divide this into groups of 12, okay, because every 12 inches is a foot. And when I do that, I'm going to get 5 and a decimal here. So I know that 62 inches is going to be 5 feet. Now what I'm going to do is figure out what that leftover bit right there is. So I'm going to subtract the 5 off of that, just because I knew what the 5 was. It was 5 full feet. And now this is 0.166, okay, so 1 of a foot. So I'm going to multiply that by the 12 inches in a foot. I just want to see what fraction of a foot we got. What have we got left here? 2 inches. So this is the same as 5 feet, 2 inches. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 5 feet here, and I'm going to try to pull out as many yards as I can out of that. So I'm going to go back to the calculator, and I'm going to put 5 in here, and I'll divide that by 3, because I know that there are 3 feet in every yard. And when I do that, I get 1.6 repeating here, so I know that I've got 1 yard in that. Now, subtract the 1 off of that number, so that I'm just left with a fraction, and this is going to be a fraction of the 3 feet, in a yard there. So there's 3 feet in a yard, and so that gives me 2 feet right there. So 1 yard, 2 feet, 2 inches. So what I'm doing here is I'm starting with the smallest unit here, and I'm working my way towards the largest unit. Okay, I divided out first. So first of all, I divided the 62 by 12 to figure out how many feet there were, but then I still wanted to figure out how many inches there were left. By dividing by 12, I'd converted that into feet, and so then what you do is I take the decimal portion of that and I multiply that by 12 to convert that little bit back to inches, just so that I see how much I've got left. And then I do the same thing with yards. First of all, I divide by 3 and take the whole number out, and then whatever that decimal is, I multiply that by 3, because then I convert that back into feet to figure out how many feet, what part of a yard, how many feet I had left over. All right, so let's convert 23 inches into feet and inches. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take that 23, okay, so 23, and I'll divide that by 12, because I know that there are 12 inches per foot. And when I do that, I get 1 complete foot. Now remember, this is in feet. This number here is in feet, so I have 1 complete foot. So I'm going to subtract the 1 off of that. This is still in feet. So to convert that back into inches, I'm going to multiply that by 12 just to see how many inches that is, and it's 11. So 1 foot, 11 inches. That actually makes perfect sense, because I mean, I would know that 2 feet would be 24 inches, and I'm 1 inch shy of that. So 1 foot, and then I'm 1 inch shy of 2 feet, of another foot there. All right, this question's a little different because it's asking us to convert 4 feet 5 inches into inches. Well, okay, well, that's not too bad here. First of all, I know I've got 5 inches left over. So what I'm going to do is convert that 4 feet into inches, and I'll do that, by multiplying by this conversion. I want this to be in inches, so it'll be 12 inches for 1 foot, and then I'm going to add the 5 additional inches that I've got left over, so this will be 4 times 12 plus 5, and the answer is 53. So 4 feet 5 inches is 53 inches. Oh, I don't need to do that because I've already got the I in there. Don't need that. 53 inches. Alright, so in this question we read that Ben buys baseboards for a bedroom, and the perimeter of the bedroom, excluding closets and doorways, is 37 feet. Okay, so what length of baseboards do you need in yards and feet? So we're going to convert 37 feet, okay, 37 feet into yards and feet. So what we'll do is we'll take 37, divide that by, well, how many feet in a yard? Oh, there's 3, so we're going to divide this by 3. So 12, and then we're going to get that 0.33 left over there. So we know we got 12 complete yards. And then this 0.333 represents the fraction of a yard left over. So let's just subtract the 12 off of that. And let's go backwards. This is the 0.333 of a yard. Let's convert that back into feet. So multiply by 3. Yeah, and you get 1. So it's going to be 12 yards, 1 foot. Now, the next question says that baseboards are sold by the yard and costs $5.99 per yard. What is the cost before taxes? Okay, now bear in mind here, because I needed 12 yards, 1 foot, okay, and they're sold by the yard, I'm going to actually have to buy 13 yards worth of baseboard to make this work. So I got to take and multiply that 13 yards by $5.99 per yard, and we're going to get that's going to cost $77.87. Okay, before taxes. All right, this next question says that a bear on a picture measures 3 3/8 of an inch. Okay, now the scale of the photograph is 1 to 24, and the question is now, what is the length of the bear in feet and inches? Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take this 3 3/8 inches, and we're going to scale that up. Okay, so remember our scale is 1 over 24. Okay, drawing to real. Drawing to original. This is drawing to original here. Now this is a true scale here because I haven't changed the units or anything like that. So whatever, doesn't matter what the unit is, whatever unit you're using up here, it is equivalent to 24 in reality. And now to do this, I will cross multiply. 1 times x is x. Now, to multiply 3 3/8 by 24 here, what we got to do first of all is get the 3 3/8 in there. Now, remember that when you have a mixed fraction like that, this is 3 plus 3/8. Okay? So we're going to get that first, and then what we'll do is we'll multiply that by 24 as the scale factor. Oh, and then we get a nice number there. It's 81. And 81 inches. Because we, remember with the scale factor here, this is a true scale factor, we haven't changed units. We're staying in the same units. So 3 3/8 multiplied by 24 gives us 81 inches. Now we're going to convert 81 inches into feet in inches. So I'm going to take that 81 and I'm going to divide that into chunks of 12. Okay, so I'm going to get, first of all, 6 feet. This is going to be equivalent to 6 feet. Subtract that 6 off of there, and I get 3/4, 7.75. And now remember, this is in feet, so it's like 6 feet and 3/4 of a foot. So what I'll do now is I'm going to multiply that by 12 to convert that fraction of a foot back into inches, and I get 9. So 6 feet, 9 inches. That's the length of the bear.
And now we will begin converting between the imperial and metric systems.
All right, now we've done some playing around within the imperial system, okay, and had a look at the way these things normally get written here. Now what we're going to do here is some conversion between the SI system and the imperial system. And this is important for us to know, particularly in Canada, because we are primarily a metric country. However, again, our largest trading partner works in the imperial system, and as such, we need to be able to communicate with them. And so it is useful to us to be able to convert not just within a system, but between systems. You're going to see the common conversion units, factors right here. Now, but the best thing to do here is just to jump into it, okay, and to start to use these conversion factors to get answers to certain questions. So let's take a look at some examples. All right, so the first question here tells me to convert 55 miles to kilometers. All right. So we've got 55 miles here. I need to multiply it by a conversion factor. Okay? And I got to multiply it by a conversion factor that works like this. I want to convert it to kilometers. So kilometers goes in my numerator and miles goes in my denominator so that my miles will cancel. So I'm going to take a quick look up here. And what do I got here? Well, I got 1 mile is 1.609 kilometers. Okay, well, let's deal with that one. So 1 mile is 1.609 kilometers. So now, all I've got to do is multiply those values together. Okay, 55 times 1.609. And we get, let's go to the nearest tenth here, 88.5 kilometers. Okay, that's the conversion. 55 miles is 88.5 kilometers. Our next question here tells us to convert 19 meters into feet. Okay, so 19 meters is where we're starting, and now we need a conversion factor between meters and feet. Well, let's take a quick look here. What I got? Well, I got right here. Okay. Sorry, I should probably set this up here. I want meters in the denominator here and feet in the numerator because I want to be left with that. And actually, what I'm going to do here is I will probably use this one. Okay, just let them I keep putting a 1 in the denominator. As often as I can, it's easier to put a 1 in the denominator. And so this is 3.2808 feet in a meter. So the units, the meters will cancel. And then what I'm going to do here is multiply 19, okay, by 3.2808. Okay, and I get 62.3 feet. Okay, whoops, sorry, can't see that. I slid that down there, but 62.3 feet. So we multiply 19 meters by 3.2808. Okay, so in this question, number 3 here, we read that Dakota drove 114 kilometers while Winona drove 68 miles. Who drove further? Well, all we got to do is we got to convert one of these units into the other. So I tell you what, in a previous question we converted miles to kilometers. Let's go kilometers to miles. Let's convert Dakota's 114 kilometers into miles. Okay, so again, we're going to put kilometers in the denominator. We're going to put miles in the numerator because I want the kilometers to cancel. Now I'm looking for a conversion factor between those two. Now in a previous question I used this one, but now I got kilometers in the denominator. I prefer the 1 in the denominator here. So 0.6214 miles. 0.6214 miles over 1 kilometer. Let's clear that up. 114 times 0.6214, and I get 70.8 miles. All right, so there we go. So who drove further? Okay, Dakota drove further. Whoops. Whatever. You get the idea. All right, now we just saw a few minutes ago that it's often the case that when we're talking about imperial units that we'll talk about a measurement using several different units like feet and inches together here. Now if we want to convert feet and inches into centimeters, it probably makes a little bit of sense here to basically choose one of those units, kind of consolidate that into one measurement with one unit, and then make the conversion. And it would probably be easier for us to convert inches into centimeters. So let's convert 5 feet 7 inches first of all into just inches. Okay, and I'm going to do that by multiplying first of all 5 by 12. Okay, because there are 12 inches in every foot, so 5 feet times 12, that's 60 inches. With an additional 7 left over, so that's 67 inches. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to convert this. Okay, we're going to convert 67 inches, into centimeters. Now I'm going to do that by making sure that I put inches in the denominator and centimeters up in the numerator so that the inches cancel. Now we need a conversion between centimeters and inches. And I'm going to use this one right here. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. I like that one because I have the inches in the denominator and I want a 1 in the denominator if I can. It's just easier. So 1 in the denominator, 2.54. So now I will multiply 67 by 2.54. Can I get 170.2 centimeters? is 5 foot 7 inches. Right, our next question here. Will a truck at 3.5 meters tall, high here, whatever, fit under a bridge that says 11 feet 9 inches? Okay, well, we got to convert these to the same units to compare them. Let's start with the 11 feet 9 inches. Now, in a previous question, we were converting the imperial into metric again, but we did it to centimeters. And so the first thing we did is we converted it to inches. Now, because we're going to convert to meters, it might be smarter for us to convert this 11 feet 9 inches into feet. So 11 feet and 9 inches. Well, let's first of all figure out what fraction of an inch is 9 inches. What fraction of an inch is 9 inches? So 9 divided by 12. Okay, 0.75. So this little bit left over is just 3/4 of a foot. So this is going to be 11.75 feet. Okay, so now I've got this as 1 unit. Let's convert 11.75 feet into meters. We want feet in the denominator, and we want meters up in the numerator. Let's go back up here. Okay, so what have I got here? I got 1 foot is equal to 0.3048 meters, and again, that's the one that I want because I have feet in the denominator here. So this will be 1 down here, and this will be 0.3048. So I've got my 11.75. I'm going to multiply that by 0.3048. This should convert this into meters. So 3.6. 3.6 meters. Ooh, it's close. It's close, but it'll fit. Yes, it will fit. Barely. Okay.